Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JZ Courtside, coming at y'all today on Monday, February 23rd. I hope everybody had a phenomenal weekend. I hope you all dodged the snow if there was any where you live. Shout out New York and New Jersey and the East Coast. I hope everybody had a blessed and fun weekend. I hope your basketball team won most importantly. And I hope you guys had a safe and just fun overall couple days of our freedom before we get back to work. Some of you guys did work. Bless y'all, man. And I hope you guys got a couple days off coming. Guys, we had a fun weekend of NBA basketball. And today we are going to be doing our winners and losers of the NBA weekend. It's been a couple weeks since we've done this just because we've been busy with the All-Star weekend. I got sick. So this is like the return of winners and losers of the NBA weekend. We honestly haven't done it in a couple weeks. So we're back. We are back. If your team isn't featured as a winner, I'm sorry. Listen, there were like virtually no winners this weekend. The teams that won over the weekend, most of them only played one game. So it's sort of difficult to make the winners. There were more losers, but so like for the winners, we're going to talk the longest on the first two, maybe just the first one. And then we are going to be diving deep into the losers because these are trends that I have noticed for a while. So it's not just losers of the weekend because they are, but it's more so losers of the season. Okay. So again, if your team isn't going to be flexed in the winter, there's not many winners. Okay. It's very difficult to pick teams that just played one game. All right. And then if you did play two games, most of the teams lost the other one. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. TikTok stream, be sure to keep double tapping that like button. Follow the stream. YouTube, you as well. Twitch, you guys know what y'all got to do, man. Y'all know what you got to do. Okay. Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee or an energy drink, and enjoy the show. I would like to also mention that today we are introducing a new segment that we are going to be bringing back in every episode from here on out, and it is called Stud of the Night, where I basically pick my favorite stat line from a player from the games last night. We're going to be doing that in every show. We're going to end every show with a stud of the night, and if there really was no standout single performance, maybe we'll mix it up with a dud of the night. All right. We're going to be ending off every show with that from now on. And eventually I will be adding graphics, but it's a lot of stuff to sort of like do on the fly. But eventually we will be adding graphics of the player with the stats and all the nice stuff. Okay, guys, let's just get right on started with the winners of the weekend. And up first, y'all know I'm very unbiased. Y'all know that. So we're going to go ahead and start off with none other than the New York Knicks. It's time to give them respect. I have been mean to my Knicks fans as of late, but I think it is time to talk about the New York Knicks being the winner of the weekend. It's been a long time since I've said this. The New York Knicks are the number one winner of the weekend, and it's pretty obvious why. They won. First of all, they won both their games over the weekend. They had that huge 18-point comeback against the Houston Rockets in the fourth quarter. On top of that, they also survived against the Bulls last night. Now, if you guys just watched that Bulls game, you would probably assume that I'd call them a loser, okay? But the Bulls looked horrible. The Knicks also looked horrible. But one part of the Knicks that didn't look that bad was Karl Anthony Towns. I'm being told currently by the TikTok saying they lost to Detroit, bruh. That was Thursday, my friend. This is the winners of the weekend. In case you didn't know, Thursday is not a part of the weekend. So the New York Knicks went 2-0 over the weekend. And the large portion, the reason why is because Karl Anthony Towns. Now, I'd like to go through his stat line for y'all in these last two games. Karl Anthony Towns, 2 nights ago on Saturday, in 34 minutes, had 25 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, plus 23 on the court, and he shot an efficient 10 for 15 from the field and 3 for 3 from three-point land. And then the Bulls game, 32 minutes, 28 points, 11 rebounds, 4 offensive, 3 steals, 2 assists, plus 13, and 10 for 17 from the field while shooting 5 for 9 from 3. Now, I got to be honest, everybody. I've been preaching this. Karl Anthony Towns has been the main issue of this team. Obviously, OG. Obviously, Mikal. But the thing about this team is I actually loved what Shaq said to him a couple nights ago. As we know, Shaq doesn't really watch NBA basketball. He doesn't watch, right? He doesn't know the coaches of teams. He doesn't know what's happening around the NBA. He just talks about what he sees that night, okay? With no information behind it. But I really like that interview. It seems like they're trying a little bit more this year because TNT went down and now everybody's saying that their show still sucks on ESPN. So I feel like they're trying a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I've been seeing better clips from Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith and Shaq because they know that they're sort of on the hot seat. Everybody seems like they're over those guys, right? But they had a very interesting interview with Cat. Shaq was basically asking him, or he was telling him like, hey, you need to be that guy. In order for this team to win it all, you need to be that guy. You need to be the number 2 guy. Brunson's going to be him. We all know Brunson's going to be solid. Brunson didn't even have a good Brunson had shit games over the weekend, by the way. Brunson had 19 points and shot 7 for 19 from the field and 1 for 6 against the Chicago Bulls. And then against the Rockets, he only had 20 points, minus 10, and he was a 6 for 12 from the field. But they still won because of Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, this is how it should be. Now, in the playoffs, you can't have Brunson have bad games. That's understandable. Your star player needs to be your star player. But your number 2 player, who's making $55 million a year, $60 million next year, also needs to be pulling his weight. And for these last 2 games, yeah, he's had those stupid plays. Yeah, he's had bad defense overall. But Cat, over these last 2 games, hasn't looked like Cat. I'll be honest, even in the Pistons game, this is why you can't box score watch, okay? Because I'm about to bring a point to you. If you looked at the box score of Knicks versus Pistons on Thursday night, you would think Karl-Anthony Towns had a good game. 21 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and he shot 50% from the field. But if you watch the game, you would think that box score is solid. But if you watch the game, you know, wow, Cat was arguably one of the major reasons why we lost that game. Cat was bad. Cat was horrible on defense. Shit, Cat was horrible on offense. He wasn't attacking Dennis Jenkins when he got the switch. He wasn't attacking Duncan Robinson when he got the switch. But when you look at that box score, you think, damn, he had a good game. 21 and 11, that's solid. But we all know who watched that game. He didn't put any effort. He was just shrugging the entire game. That's why you can't box score watch, and you have to watch the games themselves with specific players, okay? Now, my main reason I bring that game up is because in that game against the Pistons, he may not have had a good game, but did you notice something different with their game plan? Shout out Mike Brown because he changed his offensive game plan a little bit. They are trying to go through Cat. They are. For the Pistons game, he kept passing the ball. Every time he got the ball, he kept passing it, okay? And then I think after that game, Mike Brown must have told him, Carl, listen, man, stop passing the ball. Go get a bucket. And because the last 2 games with the Rockets and Bulls, he stopped passing that ball. When he got a mismatch, he started to just shoot it or drive to the hoop and not hook them on the offensive foul. So I think the biggest reason why I have them as winner of the weekend, my number 1 winner of the weekend, is because this team, we all know it's Jalen Brunson's team, right? We all know that. But so far in the 3 games after the All-Star break, even with a big loss to the Pistons, that was the first game after the All-Star break. So maybe Cat just needed a couple games to remember, okay, the new game plan, I can shoot. I can be me. And maybe that will hold up. Now, Cat still had a bunch of defensive lapses in the Houston game. He still had a bunch of defensive lapses in the Chicago Bulls game. But the offensive side, it looked a little bit better. It looked a little bit better. Now, I think Cat is one of those guys that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Knicks fans. Same with T-Wolves fans. You guys watched him for years. Cat is one of those guys that needs to be rewarded when he does something right. So when he hits a shot, right, he'll go back and play defense. But if he misses a shot and then gets scored on, he doesn't get the ball back anytime soon, he's not going to put effort in. I think Cat, if he plays average defense, he wants to be rewarded on the other end. And that's the exact point that I'm bringing up. He needs to be engaged and encouraged. And I think that's the main thing about Cat. He's very energy dependent. I fully agree on that, TikTok. So can Karl hold this up? I'm not sure. But I think a very important thing is that these 3 games after the All-Star break, they're very important. Yes, they lost to the Pistons, but it looks like they're trying a new offensive strategy here. Go to Cat. Let him cook, see what he can do. He was a plus 23 last night, man. And against the Rockets, in that comeback win, he was a plus 13. Listen, I am a Pistons fan, right? I'm here giving props. I tell you guys a lot. There's only a couple NBA players who I can't stand watching, but there's only one NBA player that I strongly dislike, and that's Karl Anthony Towns. So for me to sit up here and go on an 8-minute rant about giving him his flowers, that's hard for me to do, but that's something that a basketball enjoyer has to do. I want to enjoy basketball thoroughly, and last night I enjoyed watching Karl Anthony Towns. The night before, I enjoyed watching Karl Anthony Towns. You are making $55 million, sir. You need to understand who you are, and your teammates need to understand who you are. I think my viewer Liam in the Twitch stream, I think he just nailed it here. He said Cat and Jose lineups are good for Cat because he becomes the number 1, and I fully agree. I fully agree. Fully agree. I think Jose is going to feed Cat way more than Brunson, and I think in those minutes with Jose, I think you're going to see Cat become way more engaged. Remember, Cat is making $55 million. He theoretically is the number 1 on this team financially, but he's not. He is the number 2. He's not being asked to be the primary ball handler. He's not being asked to be the primary scorer. But if you guys remember when the Knicks defeated the Pistons in the first round series that they should have won, the Knicks should have won, and they did win. Karl Anthony Towns was the killer. Jalen Brunson carried them for 3 quarters. In every single one of those playoff games against the Pistons, Brunson carried them in the first 3 quarters. And then Karl Anthony Towns would lead the comeback and bury the Pistons in each and every game. Cat is the most important player for the New York Knicks. Most important player for the New York Knicks. It's not Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's going to be great. Can Karl Anthony Towns be great alongside him? That's the main question. But for these great 2 games, I got to give the New York Knicks my winner of the weekend, man. They're my number 1 winner of the weekend. Let's move on to my second winner of the weekend. This was going to be a little bit shorter. One thing I actually do wanted to say, I did want to mention this. Josh Hart, I feel like he's been very passive this year. Knicks fans, can you guys agree with me? I feel like Josh started this year off hot. I feel like he's been honestly, I can't remember one thing that he's been shooting really well from 3, but he's not shooting often. I'm very curious, how many 3-pointers has he attempted? It's got to be like 3 a game, right? He's attempting 3.7, and it truthfully doesn't feel like that. He's shooting 40% from 3, yet I feel like he's been very passive. I feel like I see Josh Hart yelling at the refs. I feel like I remember those moments more than anything. And I'm being asked by a Knicks fan in the TikTok, and this is a very valid question. Why would he attempt more? Well, in moments that Jalen Brunson needs help, like a lot, I'm sure Knicks fans always say that Jalen Brunson doesn't get help. If you have a 40% shooter on your wing, don't you think you could use that help? I'm not going to lie. I watch Jalen Brunson a lot. The Knicks are my top 3 most watched teams this year. I think we all agree that Brunson sort of forces this heavy load on himself 95% of the time. Can we all agree on that? I really feel like Brunson sort of shoulders this weight when he really doesn't have to. You have Mikal Bridges. You have OG Anunoby. You have arguably the best supporting cast in the entire NBA. I don't think Brunson needs to carry this load as much as he does. Now, don't pause on that. I genuinely mean that. Jalen Brunson's undisputed, a top 10 player in the NBA right now. But I feel like he carries too much of a load when he's got the best supporting cast. Bro, can you guys just imagine for 1 second? Could you imagine Jaylen Brown had this team around him? Could you imagine Cade Cunningham had this team around him? Could you imagine that Luka would suck with this lineup? Could you imagine who else, bro? Kawhi with this lineup? I'm trying to think of point guards. Imagine Shea would be a downgrade. What other? Tyrese Maxey? Again, you need a defensive center. I just feel like Jalen Brunson should not be averaging 6 assists. You have players. Now, I'll admit, OG Anunoby, he's been off since coming back from his injury. Mikal Bridges is scared of contact. I'm not saying that Jalen Brunson needs to give the ball in somebody else's hands, but what I am saying is Jalen Brunson needs to orchestrate this offense better. There's a Knicks fan in the TikTok. Please don't get offended to anything that I'm saying. I'm giving the Knicks their flowers. I'm giving Brunson his flowers. I know your name is Knicks Tape, but please stop getting offended by any of the takes I'm saying, because I promise you, I am a big fan of Jalen Brunson. No matter how many times he kills my team, I'm a major fan of Jalen Brunson. Does he flop? Sure, but he doesn't have a good as whistle as he did last year. I watch almost every single... Okay, I'm being told by this Knicks fan in the TikTok that I don't watch the Knicks fans. Twitch chat, Discord, you guys all know me. I watch almost every single Knicks game. As long as the Pistons and Knicks are playing at the same time, I'm always hopping between each, okay? Yes, I do believe Josh Hart should be getting more shots. I believe OG Anunoby should be getting more shots. I believe Karl-Anthony Towns should be getting more shots. Look what's happening when he is. They just won both these games. And I believe Mikal Bridges should be getting more shots. Genuinely. I think Jalen Brunson carries too much of a load. I think he should be facilitating way more. I think he should be... I mean, you can't tell me Josh Hart shooting 40%. I'll tell you guys this much. If the Pistons had Josh Hart would be putting up 6 threes a night. Plain and simple. 40%. 40%. Plain and simple. I think Brunson, as great as he is during the regular season, get your teammates active more so that you don't have to worry about the playoffs. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Even my Twitch chat is saying that I do watch all Knicks games. I do. I'm a huge fan, man. I like watching the Knicks, bro. It's good basketball. It's really, really good basketball. Except for last night, horrible game. The last 6 minutes of that Knicks Bulls game was ugly. If you guys watched that game, the Chicago Bulls, I'm going to give them a little bit of grace. They were on an 8-game losing streak. It did turn into a 9-game losing streak. I know that the roster is basically brand new after the trade deadline, but that game was ugly. Again, credit to Karl-Anthony Towns. He won them that game. Jalen Brunson didn't get a single field goal in the fourth quarter last night. Correct me if I'm wrong. Brunson did not score in the fourth quarter. I think he got free throws, but he didn't get a field goal. But yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns won them that game. The Bulls were losing the ball every possession. The Knicks were losing the ball every possession. It was really funny. It was really, really funny. And something that I unfortunately have to defend myself for once. You guys know me. I'm very confident in my like knowledge of basketball. My Twitch chat knows more than everybody. Yeah, Mikal Bridges should not have gone a bang in the regular season against the Chicago Bulls for the record. I actually do have to defend myself. I watch every team. If you guys have a take about any of these teams, I watch every single game. I love this TikTok comment because this is what I'm talking about. Reese in the TikTok said, quote, "You don't know ball," while he is literally dissecting the games quarter by quarter is hilarious. Thank you, KG. Thank you, Reese. You guys should come to the Twitch stream. I would love to have you in here. I love being told that. My final take on this weekends of the New York Knicks is something that I love to see was Jose Alvarado. I think they might be playing him just a tad bit too much. I think 20 minutes is probably the sweet spot you want to put him in. I think 20 minutes is the sweet spot. I think my Pelicans fan in my Discord, like, he killed it when I asked him last night. I told him Jose Alvarado seems like he's really, really on fire one night, and then another night he can't buy a shot. Last night he couldn't buy a shot, okay? Could not buy a shot. The issue is Jose is great energy-wise, and he brings it defensively, but I feel like he's really good in sample sizes. I'm even being told that 12 to 15 minutes is perfect for him, and I fully agree. I think he's a dog defensively, but I think offensively, if he's being asked to do too much, I'm not in love with it. Now, again, I don't know why this Knicks fan is so upset with me in the TikTok. My Knicks fans in my Twitch stream are in love with me right now. He's telling me that I'm box score watching. Correct. I am not allowed to show live NBA game, or I'm not allowed to show NBA footage on my TikTok stream. Otherwise, it will get taken down. So I have to show you the box score. Okay. And yes, I do think, again, Josh Hart as a 40% three-point shooter should be getting more shots, but his point guard isn't passing to him. I'm all done. Man, here I am. I really genuinely didn't believe that a Knicks fan in the TikTok would be telling me I don't know ball when I literally picked the Knicks as my #1 winner of the weekend. You know what? You know what they say? Like, you can't please everybody. I picked the Knicks as my #1 winner of the weekend, and yet TikTok is still upset. A Knicks fan is still upset with me. With that being said, TikTok viewers, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to leave the TikTok. Get away from morons like that guy named Knicks Tape. Dylan, come through to the Twitch stream. We'd love to have you. Get away from the morons like that and come through to the Twitch. We would love to have you in the Twitch stream. Okay, let's move on to my next winner of the weekend, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, like I said, this was a very difficult winner of the weekend segment to set up, because most teams, if they played 2 games over the weekend, they lost one and won the other. There weren't many teams that played 2 games over the weekend and won them both. The Thunder did. They played on Friday and Sunday. I'm not going to talk about the Nets game. They beat the Nets. It's the Nets. What I will talk about is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I've been talking about the Cavaliers a lot lately, and I feel like we all have, and I feel like we've been seeing a lot of horrendous takes regarding the Cleveland Cavaliers. I just want everybody to know the Cleveland Cavaliers versed one playoff team in their 7-game winning streak. One. And it was the Denver Nuggets, who were missing 2 starters. Now, I'd like to just show you guys this again. During their winning streak, they defeated the Portland Trailblazers, not a playoff team. They defeated the Clippers, not a playoff team. They defeated the Sacramento Kings, the worst team in the NBA, arguably one of the worst of all time. The Denver Nuggets missing Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, and Spencer Jones. That was a good win. I remember that, though. They beat the Washington Wizards, one of the worst teams in the NBA. They beat the Brooklyn Nets, one of the worst teams in the NBA. They beat the Charlotte Hornets. Now, that's a good win. But they were still missing 2 of their starters because of the suspension. And then they ran into their first real playoff team other than the Nuggets, and they lost. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm not as high on them as a lot of other people are, because it's James Harden and the honeymoon phase is very distracting. But where I will give credit to is the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that's why they're my second winner of the weekend. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder right now, without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, without Alex Caruso, without J-Dub, and without AJ Mitchell, how do they win this game? I'll tell you why. It's because of their defensive scheme. It's because of their offensive firepower. It's because this team is just flat out great. This team is flat out great. Even without their MVP, even without Alex Caruso, arguably their best perimeter defender, even without AJ Mitchell, basically their secondary option this season, and without J-Dub, the real second option. It's a sight to see how great this team truly is. And I'm really, really excited to see how far this team can go. Now, I will say, Twitter was very, very upset with the Oklahoma City Thunder, because they believe that the Cavaliers were robbed in this game. Now, what I will say watching this game, and my fiance can attest to this as well, she said, is James Harden just trying to bait foul calls? I said, yeah, he's sort of like the one who pioneered this thing. In the 4th quarter, James Harden, he was driving to the hoop every time and flailing his head bobs and flailing his arms, but the fouls weren't coming. It's like he's in Cleveland now and not really getting the calls that he was getting before. Now, you guys know my opinion on foul baiting and flopping. You guys know my opinion on that, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it. The Cleveland Cavaliers were not robbed of this game. The Cleveland Cavaliers were trying to play to the refs, and that's why they eventually lost this game, man. They got out-rebounded on the offensive glass. They got out-assisted. They got out-stealed. They got more blocks. The Thunder got less turnovers. The Thunder scored more on turnovers, and they had more second chance opportunities. The Cavs came back, sure. I mean, when you have the firepower, the offensive firepower of Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, you're going to come back into the game. But I'll be honest with everybody, man. Watching this game, it was pretty obvious. It was pretty obvious who was going to win. The Thunder hit 21 threes. They shot 51% from 3, and the Cavs shot 33% from 3, and that's sort of the story of this game. Listen, man, you're losing to a team like this without Shai, without Caruso, without AJ Mitchell. Play your game. Don't worry about the refs. Plain and simple. Play your game and don't worry about the refs. That's the moral of the story. The The Thunder did their thing, man. They obviously won both of their games over the weekend. They beat the Nets and they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're sitting their MVP out. He's getting rest. What I will say, and I've been talking about this a lot. The Oklahoma City Thunder will not win the NBA championship this year if J-Dub isn't J-Dub of last year. I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think that's being over dramatic. J-Dub was a key component as to them winning last year. And if J-Dub isn't here and he's not averaging his 20-some points a game that he was in the playoffs last year, I don't care how well Chet plays. I don't care how well Shea plays. But if J-Dub isn't here, right? This is the same guy that dropped 40 points in the finals. I'm not even saying, like, bro, if J-Dub comes back and plays how he was this year, they're still not winning at all. J-Dub can come back and play the way he is this year, and they still won't win at all. In fact, I think that's a second-round exit if J-Dub is playing this poorly. He's averaging 17.5 points, 47% from the field, and 31% from three. I believe that 31% is his worst of his career, and I am correct. Yeah, that is, wow, significantly worse. That is 5% worse than his worst shooting season. So this is concerning. This is concerning for Thunder fans. You need that man back. And not just back, I'm saying back from last year. So yes, they're winners of the weekend, but we need to see J-Dub come back, and he needs to play the 15 games like prior to the playoffs. I've been preaching that all season long. He needs at least like 10 or 15 games prior to the playoffs, starting to get warmed up as well. And on top of that, a guy that I've been talking about all season with AJ Mitchell, they haven't had him in a while, right? And this guy is going to be a key X factor in any playoff series that you go into. I don't think the lights will be too bright for him. He's on a team that has all of this championship pedigree. I think having AJ Mitchell as your sixth man is going to just spark plug like crazy come playoff time. I'm really, really excited to watch the Thunder play this year. And it just depends on whether or not J-Dub is in. You know, it's all it does is it just depends on whether or not he's going to be a reason why they can go all the way. Plain and simple. I am going to end the TikTok stream very quickly. Okay. If you guys want to watch more of the stream, we are live on Twitch. I think there's 45 of you guys over there. I'm not reading that chat, so I may as well just end it. If you guys want to get involved with the stream, that's JZ Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio, guys. I hope to see you come through. We're expecting a few of you guys to at least come through to the Twitch, guys. That's JZ Uncut on Twitch. Okay. Link in my bio, JZ Uncut on Twitch. Same name. Okay, so here we go. Let's continue with this. My third and final winner of the weekend is a group of 3 teams. Now, I know what you're thinking. JC, who the hell else is a winner of the weekend? No other team really won 2 games over the weekend. Well, you're right, and that's why we're going to sort of speed round this. My final winner of the weekend is actually a group of teams, and that is the Boston Celtics, the Detroit Pistons, and the San Antonio Spurs. Now, again, these teams all won 1 game over the weekend, but they also did win their games on Thursday. So I feel like it counts a little bit. The Boston Celtics, huge win last night. Huge, ginormous win last night in Los Angeles against the Lakers. And honestly, I enjoyed this game a lot. My apologies. I was taking a drink. The Boston Celtics are so good, man. They're so good. And, you know, I'm going to save the Lakers talk for my next segment because I'm sure you guys can assume what's going on, right? I will save the rest of this, the Lakers talk, for the next segment. We're not going to talk about that right now, okay? Poe the Panda, big shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you very, very much. Shout out to you for leaving that stream and coming through to the Twitch, man. We're very happy to have you, bro. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Much love. Let's talk about the Boston Celtics and why they're my next winner of the weekend, okay? Well, it's pretty obvious. They put BTA on the Los Angeles Lakers, and it was led by Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard. It was led by Peyton Pritchard. I can't exaggerate this enough. Yes, Jaylen Brown had 32 points, but when I tell you Peyton Pritchard won them this game, I mean it when I say it. Peyton Pritchard won them this game. He was unbelievable last night. Guys, I'm not a big advanced stat kind of guy, but 95% true shooting, 30 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, plus 21 on the court. And he shot 10 for 14 from the field and 6 for 9 from deep, with 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Jaylen Brown wasn't as efficient. In fact, he was 10 for 28. Not a good game by Jaylen Brown standards, but he hit big shots when they need him. Every time the Lakers got it under 10, Jaylen Brown would hit a 3. Every time they got it within 10, Peyton Pritchard would just nuke something, just break their ankles and just put up a 3. Unfortunately, Peyton Pritchard, fast PP, cannot win Sixth Man of the Year anymore. Unfortunately, he has started far too many games this year, so blame Joe Mazzulla for starting him way too much. But at the same time, man, Peyton Pritchard just played a spectacular game last night. Like, nobody else really had a good game per se. It was Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown on offense, and that's really all they needed against this team. And I will talk about why that's all they needed. That's why that's all they needed against the Los Angeles Lakers. But for now, I'm not going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. We will talk about them in our next segment, okay? Twizzy, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you very, very much. Just so everybody knows that comes to the stream, I only respond to like comments that really partake to the conversation that I'm currently having. So if you would like to stick around and ask me that question after the episode, I would appreciate it. Be sure to join the Discord, Poe the Panda and Twizzy Dill. We'd love to have you guys join up. Exclamation point Discord in the Twitch chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're very happy to have you guys in here. Now, let's continue with this. Let's continue. Our next winner of the weekend is the Pistons. Now, again, like I said, there's not that many teams I could have picked from, so we're just going to speed through this. The Pistons clobbered the Bulls. They did what they're supposed to. It was a real team effort. They got Jalen Duren back from his suspension, and Jalen Duren came back with an emphasis. He had 26 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, shot 12 for 20 from the field. And Jalen Duren had a great game, and it was fun. Cade Cunningham dished out 13 assists, 18 points, didn't need much else. B-Ball Paul, crazy game off the bench. It was a fun game to watch. The Pistons really pulled away in the fourth quarter, and then obviously they were still fresh off of their utter domination in New York just 2 nights prior to that when they put BTA in New York. Now, before I move on to the Spurs, again, the Pistons they're doing their thing. They have the second longest win streak in the NBA right now with 5 games in a row, and they are only second to the San Antonio Spurs, who have won, I believe, 8 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games in a row. The San Antonio Spurs, my final winner of the weekend. They went on and just put BTA to the Sacramento Kings. Now, like I said, this is sort of like winners of the last 2 weeks, in a sense, if you really think about it. Because, I mean, I'm not going to talk about them beating the Sacramento Kings. Everybody beats the They're on a 16-game losing streak. But, I mean, I'm just continuously impressed by this team. The maturity, the professionalism, the aggression. I am very, very impressed. You know, it wasn't too long ago. It was maybe like a month ago where I was saying the San Antonio Spurs, like, they haven't made the playoffs. You know, at least the Pistons made the playoffs last year, right? At least the Pistons got their experience last year in the playoffs, right? The Spurs didn't. The Spurs didn't get that experience. So I was saying for almost the entire majority of this, like, successful regular season for them, I was saying they need experience. I don't know what teams they can beat. And then I looked at the conference standings. I went ahead and looked at the conference standings. And then I think you guys can remember, Spurs fans, please tell me that you remember this conversation. I started looking at their conference and I was like, wait, actually, maybe I was wrong. Because I was saying that experience is everything. But fortunately for the Spurs, they're such a good team, it sort of trumps the experience level to an extent. Not a crazy extent, but to an extent. Because then when you start looking at the standings, right? Ladies and gentlemen, who do you got? Spurs or Suns? I got the Spurs. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, who do you got? The Lakers or the Spurs? I got the Spurs. I got the Spurs. Who do you got? The Golden State Warriors or the Spurs? I got the Spurs. Who do you got? The Timberwolves or the Spurs? Now that's where it gets interesting. Because as we all know, the only players with any hope of guarding Victor Wembanyama, you can't guard him. All you can do is overwhelm him, is the short, stocky guys in Julius Randle. I'm being told that Gobert won't guard Wemby. You dumbass. You're a Spurs fan and you're telling me that Gobert won't guard Wemby. Obviously, Julius Randle's the one that guards Wemby, and he's done well against him this year. So like I said, if you're going by Spurs, Suns, I take Spurs. Spurs, Warriors, I got Spurs. Spurs, Lakers, I got Spurs. Spurs, Rockets, I got Spurs. But the Timberwolves, that one's interesting. And that's because of Julius Randle. He plays Victor Wembanyama very, very well. Yes, we know the Minnesota Timberwolves have been asked as of late, and we will be talking about them in the next season. But it should be very, very interesting to see what the Spurs can do. I'm not here saying that the Spurs are favorites, not by any means. But what I am saying is experience isn't everything. It's not everything. And that's where it gets sort of interesting because, like I said, you can credit the Pistons because they got experience. But the Spurs have no experience. And the Spurs are still a really good effing team, man. We also have tonight the Detroit Pistons and the San Antonio Spurs duking it out in Detroit. Now, I know a lot of you guys want my opinion on who's going to win this game. I got the Spurs winning this game. As a Pistons fan, I'm telling you, I have the Spurs winning this game. Main reason being, and I know it's not that crazy to say, a lot of casual fans, I'm already prepared for what the casuals will say when I say this. So just enjoy. Isaiah Stewart is the most important player, other than Cade, against the San Antonio Spurs. In fact, I would go so far as to say Isaiah Stewart is more important than Jalen Duren in a matchup against the San Antonio Spurs. Excuse me. I think we all understand how you can try to guard Victor Wembanyama. Nobody can guard him, okay? But Isaiah Stewart, and you guys can fact check me on this. All the TikTok chat was freaking out when I said this last week. Isaiah Stewart is the number one defender at the rim this year. Not averaging the most blocks. They misconstrued it when I said that. Isaiah Stewart holds opponents to the lowest field goal percentage in the entire NBA. I need you guys to hear that stat one more time. Isaiah Stewart, when somebody attempts a shot on him, he averages the lowest percent made against him in the entire NBA. In an NBA that has Rudy Gobert, in an NBA that has Victor Wembanyama, it is 100,000% a real statistic that you can look up at any point in time. That's a very fun advanced metric. I'm not a big advanced metric guy, but Isaiah Stewart holds opponents to the lowest field goal percentage around the rim in the entire NBA. So you ask me, who do I think is going to win? I think the San Antonio Spurs, because I don't think Paul Reed can hold Victor Wembanyama. I don't think Jalen Duren can hold Victor Wembanyama. Tonight, you're going to see Duren try to rip the rim off the backboard is what you're going to see. Duren is going to try to absolute body Victor Wembanyama, but Stu would have far more success against Wemby. And I think the Spurs got tonight's win. Now, something I am very, very happy about is the Pistons play the Spurs tonight without Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart is out for another 4 games. And funny enough, in case you guys don't know, the Pistons have the second hardest strength of schedule for the remaining of the year. The Pistons have the second hardest schedule for the rest of the season. For the rest of the season, for all the games for the rest of this year, they have the second hardest schedule in the entire NBA. Now, they still won't have Stu tonight on Peacock, on the cock, against the San Antonio Spurs. Wednesday on ESPN, they won't have Isaiah Stewart against Oklahoma City Thunder. And then Friday against the Cleveland Cavaliers on ESPN again. The Pistons have 3 nationally broadcasted games this week. Again, they don't have Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart, I believe, returns. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4. He's missed 3. Isaiah Stewart will return on Tuesday, March 3rd against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So something that is very exciting is the Spurs play the Pistons again next week, or the following week, not next week. So we will be able to see Isaiah Stewart versus Wembanyama next week. So that's fun. The Pistons still have to play the Spurs twice this season. The Pistons still have to play the Cavs twice this season. The Pistons still have to play the Thunder twice this season. The Pistons have the second hardest stretch of the schedule for the rest of the season in the entire NBA. Let's move on to our losers of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I know you guys have been waiting for this. let's move on to our losers of the weekend. I know this is something you guys have been looking forward to. We haven't done it in a few weeks. Let's look at my losers. I looked through and there are a lot of losers. Let's start off, man. We've been going on for 40 minutes, so we gotta pick up the pace here a little bit. I see a lot of people following on TikTok. Trenton, Dawson, I appreciate you guys very much. I would love for you guys to leave the TikTok stream and come through to the Twitch stream. It's a much better experience over here. Not only do you get to talk to me and the rest of my community, but you can also join my Discord, which is 100% free, where we talk live NBA games, host watch parties, hang out. It's a really, really cool community. It's not like the TikTok community. It's not like the Twitter community. I see a bunch of people following the TikTok right now. The Twitch is the same name, guys. STP, Fraudeler, Al, X, Lewis, Trenton. I appreciate all the follows on TikTok. I would love for you guys to come and drop a follow on the Twitch and watch and hang out with us here. Remember, if you guys watch the Twitch stream, 3 streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 subscription. One more time, if you watch the Twitch stream for 3 streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 subscription. I hope to see you guys come through. I'm shouting out everybody that does. Let's start off with an honorary loser of the weekend. I didn't make a lower third of this team. Honorary loser of the weekend is the Sacramento Kings. They signed the ultimate tank commander, Killian Hayes. Everybody's familiar with who Killian Hayes is. But here's the thing. The Sacramento Kings weren't intentionally tanking all year. We all know they weren't. If you watch the Kings games, you know that they were trying. They were trying. They just signed the ultimate tank commander, Killian Hayes, to a 10-day contract. I don't think that contract gets extended beyond that 10 days. But we shall see what happens, man. Shout out Killian Hayes, Pistons legend, for signing a 10-day contract with the Sacramento. He's been cooking it up in the G, man. He's been cooking it up in the G. Let's move on with our very first loser of the weekend, guys. That's the Los Angeles Lakers. How many L's are in those words? 3? How many L's? Los Angeles Lakers. That's 3 L's. And yeah, man, they had fat L's last night. The Los Angeles Lakers are my number 1 loser of the weekend. Now, I could go on forever about how bad this team is, but I think I'd rather start off with something that's very eye-opening for everybody listening, okay? I'm about to scare a lot of Lakers fans. Lakers fans, close your ears and eyes, okay? Because it's about to get very scary. I went ahead and took the honor of tearing up the Lakers' schedule from this year. I'm talking about their schedule from 2026, not dating back into end of October, November, and December. Let's look at more recent. January and February, okay? Guys, would you believe me if I said they have 2 wins against playoff teams so far in this calendar year? I need to say that again. They have 2 wins in this calendar year against playoff teams. Playoff teams. I'm not saying number 1, number 2, number 3 seeds. I'm saying just playoff teams. Be in the top 6 seeds on either conference. The Los Angeles Lakers have 2 wins against playoff teams this year. Do you guys know who those 2 teams are? Do you guys know? They're not elite teams. In fact, they're the Toronto Raptors and they're the Philadelphia 76ers. Those are the 2 wins that they have against playoff teams in this calendar year. Now, I can't reiterate this enough. In case you guys don't know, since the year 2000, the Los Angeles Lakers and Boston Celtics were given the most difficult schedules for the remaining regular season because the NFL ends, and after the Super Bowl, the Lakers get more watch time. So they put them on more nationally broadcasted games, and they put them against tougher opponents. Now, I'm going to repeat myself one more time. The Los Angeles Lakers this calendar year have 2 wins against playoff teams, and it's the Philadelphia 76ers and it's the Toronto Raptors, the 5th and 6th seeds of the East. I'd like to give a special shout out to JDM Love. Thank you so much for the follow on Twitch, my boy. I really, really appreciate you, bro. Make sure you join the Discord as well. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. So since they only have 2 wins against playoff teams this year, let me look at the rest of their schedule, and we're going to count together how many playoff teams they verse for the rest of the year. Are you guys ready? Magic technically are not a playoff team, so we're not going to count them. Let's go ahead and count playoff teams. Suns technically play in. Warriors technically play in, right? Kings suck. Pelicans suck. So 1, Pacers suck. 2, 3, Bulls suck. 4, 5, 6. Nope. Nope. 7. Nope. 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 8, 9. Nope. 10. Nope. Nope. So 10 out of their final 20 some games are against playoff teams. See, now here's the issue. A lot of these teams were supposed to be playoff teams. The Mavericks were supposed to be a playoff team. The Clippers were supposed to be a playoff team. The Magic were supposed to be a playoff team. The Suns were a playoff team for the majority of the year. The Warriors are supposed to be a playoff team. So a lot of these teams you can look at and you're like, damn, like that wasn't that many playoff teams. But most of these teams should have been playoff teams. The Heat, obviously, we know they suck. So at this point in time, I'm being told by TikTok that they're going to win 7 out of those 10 matchups against playoff teams. Now that just doesn't fit their mold because they have only 2 wins against playoff teams in this calendar year. So if you believe they're going to win 7 out of those 10 games, they only have 2 wins out of those playoff teams. So that's where it gets very confusing. I'd like to give special shout outs to JDM Love and Bryworld for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you guys very, very much, man. Welcome. Be sure to join the Discord, !Discord in the chat. We'd love to have you come through. I appreciate you guys hanging out in the TikTok, but leaving to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you guys very, very much, man. The Twitch stream is the best place to watch these podcasts, and I appreciate it very, very much. Welcome, guys. So, yeah, man, I got to be honest with everybody. The Lakers have not looked good. I got to be honest, man. DeAndre Ayton has looked horrible this year. They took the flyer on him, and maybe, damn, I mean, he's not good. He's not good. DeAndre Ayton is just not good. He's not good. He's not good. Now, Austin Reeves. I'd like to talk about Austin Reeves real quick. Is it just me? Or is this like the fakest all-star campaign that we've ever seen in my entire life? Bro, I was being told that Austin Reeves was going to be an undisputed all-star. Now, obviously, he got hurt. But can we just look at man's stats real quick? He's averaging 25 points per game. I just think this is so fake. I think he took advantage. I think this is such a small sample size. How many games has he played this year? He has played 30 games this year. 30 out of their, 60? So almost half of the games they've played this year. And in half of those, they didn't have LeBron because he was out due to his sciatica. Remember when we said at the beginning of the season that Austin Reeves is one of the best third options in the NBA? You know what changed? He's now the second option, and he's not a second option. He's not a second option at all. That's why he's been underperforming as of late. He's not a second option. That's what changed. He was one of the best third options in the NBA. But if you're being honest with me and we're having a civilized discussion, if we're having a good conversation to ourselves about basketball, if you were to ask me, who would you rather have? Austin Reeves as your third option or Derek White as your third option? I'm not thinking. That's not a question. I'm not thinking about who I'm taking. I think it's pretty obvious who I'm taking. I'm taking the guy who plays defense. I'm talking about the best shot blocking guard in the NBA. I'm talking about the guy that as a third option can average almost 20 points a game on over 40% shooting. I'm taking Derek White every day of the week. And that's not a debate. It's so funny because my Twitch chat is saying Derek White. My TikTok is saying Austin Reeves. And that shows you the level of brain cells of each stream right there. You want to know about if somebody knows about basketball? Ask them, would you rather have Austin Reeves as your third option or would you rather have Derek White? And I think it's a pretty obvious telltale sign about what I'm saying. I think what I'm saying right now is completely valid. Let's look at Derek White as a third option last year. Last year, Derek White averaged 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 44% from the field, and 39% from 3. 83% from the free throw line as well. Now let's look at Austin Reeves as a third option. 20 points per game, so more points. Same rebounds, more assists, 5.8 assists. Same steals, less blocks. Way more shot attempts, averaging 37% from the field and 37% from the three-point line. So my point being, on a team that has won a championship, right? As a team that won a championship with Derek White as their third option, I think this is pretty telling. I'm not excluding championship experience whatsoever as well. I'm telling you, if I was building a team, hell, let's just say my team. Let's look at the Detroit Pistons. You add Derek White to that team. Are they not like undisputed favorites at that point? You have Cade Cunningham, Duncan Robinson. You put Derek White at the 3, Asar Thompson at the 4, and Jalen Duren at the 5. And then off the bench, you have Danis Jenkins. You have I guess who else would you want at the 2? I guess it's very confusing. Ron Holland, right? Karis LeVert, Paul Reed, Isaiah Stewart. I mean, that is just undisputed. Oh my God. You add Austin Reeves to that team. Here's the thing. You cannot win a championship with a backcourt of Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. You simply cannot. Now, I would like to emphasize this thought process even further without sounding like a hater, of course. With a backcourt of Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, you have virtually no defense. And then you also have DeAndre Ayton protecting the rim and LeBron James, who doesn't help on defense. So you are looking at this lineup as a team, and you're telling me you're rolling out a backcourt of Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, and then your bench is Luke Kennard and Jake LaRavia? I'm being told by TikTok, once again, you just don't know ball. I'm pretty confident I do, because the Los Angeles Lakers have the 3rd worst defense in the entire NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers grab the 2nd least rebounds in the entire NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers are the 9th most selfish team on offense in the entire NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers are a bottom half team in the NBA at getting steals. The Los Angeles Lakers are the 2nd worst team at getting blocked shots. The Los Angeles Lakers are a bottom half team of making field goals. The Los Angeles Lakers are the 2nd worst team at attempting field goals. The Los Angeles Lakers are the 7th worst three-point shooting team in the NBA. So I'm pretty confident with everything I've said. The Los Angeles Lakers are the worst team in the NBA. A man named Sean in the TikTok said, man, I'm going to just leave this here. When we holding up that ring, I don't want to hear none. Are you talking about winning a ring this year, Sean? Hold on. We got to figure out 9th and least assist. We got to figure out, does Sean mean this year when they're holding up a ring? Does he mean this year? I'm very curious. He said, yes, this year. Sir, in the playoffs, you guys would be up against the San Antonio Spurs right now. Or sorry, no, you guys would be against the Denver Nuggets, who, correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, no. You guys would be versus the Rockets. Yeah, give me the Rockets every day of the week. Bro, are we serious? The Lakers winning a championship this year? Do you understand? Here, actually, I'm going to point out a very funny statistic. The last time a bottom 5 team in the NBA has won a championship. Oh, wait, sorry. It's never happened before. Oh, whoops. So, for any Lakers fan that has any belief of winning anything this year, there has never been a team with a bottom 5 defense to ever win a championship. Ever. Since conception. Since the NBA started, a bottom 5 defensive team in the NBA has never won a championship. The Lakers are the 25th best defense in the NBA, meaning they are the 5th worst defense. I'm being asked, Austin Reeves or Con Knips? Are you talking about this year? This year? Are you talking rookie year? The fact that I have to think about that is depressing for Lakers fans. The fact that I have to think about that is depressing. And now I'm being told by the TikTok it's going to be Cavs Thunder in the finals. The Cavs got so much hype after beating the worst teams in the NBA, bro. They faced one playoff team and they lost. They beat the Hornets, play-in team. The Nets were one of the worst teams in the league. The Wizards, worst team in the league. The Nuggets without 3 starters. The Kings, the worst team in the NBA. The Clippers, play-in team. The Trailblazers, I think they're still clinging to the play-in. So, yeah, you enjoy your wins against the bottom feeders. Okay, so now that I just explained, right? Ooh, actually, this is a very, very interesting comment from somebody in my Twitch stream named Donnie. Shout out Donnie for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. See, this is why we read the Twitch comments. I appreciate the follow a lot, Donnie. Much love, bro. Bri, I can explain. Do you think pandas are being abused? Would you rather be itchy or sticky for the rest of your life? Kobe Bryant and LeBron James are the most overrated NBA players of all time. Okay, never mind. I don't know what that question is. But yeah, I've talked about the Cavs a lot. They got better with James Harden, but at the end of the day, it's James Harden, and he's not good in the playoffs. He'll get you like games 1 and 2, but yeah, after that, yeesh. Right now, the Cavs are on the Cavs just have no defense. The Cavs defense last year terrified me. The Cavs defense this year has been sort of really funny now, especially after this trade of having a backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. Now, I'd like to give another special shout out to the homie Call Me Rids. Thank you for leaving the TikTok stream and joining the Twitch stream, brother. I really, really appreciate you. Bri, don't go anywhere, man. I talk about the Cavs a lot, my man. Be sure to join the Discord, guys. Be sure, if you are in the Twitch stream, to join the Discord. Okay, that's priority numero uno. I've talked enough about the Lakers, but they're the 5th worst defense in the entire NBA. They're not winning the championship. I don't know what Lakers fans, I don't know what delusional Lakers fans, that guy named Sean in the TikTok stream disappeared after he said that the Lakers are going to win it all this year and that he's going to come back and laugh when he's holding a ring. The issue is, as soon as I told him the bottom 5 defense team has never won a championship before, he ran. He just left. He just left. Fraud alert. I told you to come through to the Twitch stream, my boy. And you said you were. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to give my thoughts on the Sixers right now. So I only talk about, like, the only comments I respond to out loud are comments that pertain to the topic that I'm discussing right now. Okay, so if you want to stick around and ask me my thoughts on the Sixers, be sure to stick around after the episode and stick around and talk to me after the podcast. All right, so let's continue. My second loser of the weekend is the Denver Nuggets, man. The Denver Nuggets are my second loser of the weekend. Listen, I picked the Nuggets to win it all this year. At the start of this year, I picked the Denver Nuggets. I said the Denver Nuggets will be winning it all this year. You guys remember in my very first prediction podcast of this season, before the season started, I said the Denver Nuggets are my favorite. This is the best Nuggets team in Denver history. There's nothing better. Now, there's an issue. There's a major issue, actually. If you look, there's one of the teams that I rag on a lot. And as you all know, it's the Los Angeles Lakers, right? I get at the Lakers a lot for their bad defense. Somebody that we need to talk about with bad defense is the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are a bottom 8 team in the NBA defensively. Now, everybody tells me it's because they don't have Aaron Gordon. Nuggets fans, is Aaron Gordon that important to their defense? I'm genuinely asking a question. The Denver Nuggets, just so you know how bad their defense is, no offense to my Pacers fans out there, the tanking Pacers have a better defense than them. The Memphis Grizzlies, the tanking Memphis Grizzlies have a better defense than them. The Atlanta Hawks have a better defense than them. So when I tell you this is not going to win a championship, this is not going to win yourself a championship. They are around company right now with the Indiana Pacers defensively, the Milwaukee Bucks defensively, and they're right above the Los Angeles Lakers defensively, man. I'll tell you this much. They are closer to the Utah Jazz's defense than they are to the Cleveland Cavaliers defense, who's still not a top 10 defense in the NBA. So when I tell you guys, I don't think Aaron Gordon is that crucial to their defense. I thought Aaron Gordon is more of a stabilizer on offense. So now begs the question, where do we go from here? Is this going to fall on Jokic? I sure hope it does. Because, guys, I got to be honest with everybody here, man. Jokic's defense has been absolutely abysmal this year. Absolutely abysmal. Now, I know he's recovering. I know he came back from the injury, right? His first ever really serious injury in his career. But there's no reason this team's defense is that bad. It's just Jokic. It's just Jokic. Like, I watched, hear me out, y'all. I watched just a couple weeks ago. I watched the Pistons. Specifically Jalen Duren, just baby baby Nikola Jokic. Hell, I'll even go so far as Isaiah Stewart on Jokic. I was confident as hell. I'll be honest, y'all. I think my opinion has changed on the Denver Nuggets. I'll wait until they get Aaron Gordon back. But I'm ready. I'm almost there to make a verdict. They're dropping, ladies and gents. The Houston Rockets are half a game behind them in the standings. Half a game. Bro, the Denver Nuggets were the second seed for so long, and then they got passed up by the Spurs. Remember Phil Jackson's take on contenders win 40 games before they reach 20 losses. Well, according to Phil Jackson's fact, the Nuggets are not contenders. They're 36-22. That record is bad. The Denver Nuggets have the same record as the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'll tell you the main reason why I'm not worried about it. If you look at the past few seasons of the Denver Nuggets, they really only get about 50 wins per regular season. Like, can somebody tell me? I mean, you don't need to tell me, but the Denver Nuggets, was their highest win total with Jokic, was it like 53 games? I feel like it might be like 53 games. I could be wrong. I'm checking Basketball Reference right now. So when I tell you not to worry, I'm trying to tell y'all not to worry. Let's see. With Jokic, 50 wins last year, 57 the year before. 57 is their most wins with Jokic. That's not that bad. That's not that bad. And of course, this is Jokic's first ever time missing this long of a season. The scary thing is they were not better. They had a better record without Jokic than they do currently with Jokic. And that's the issue. That's the issue right now. They, in the time frame that Jokic has come back versus the time frame that Jokic missed, they had a better record without Jokic than they do with Jokic. Now that's not that small of a sample size. They need to get healthy. They absolutely need to get healthy. They were my pick at the start of the season. They were still my pick at the start of the season to win it all. I'm not going to change my pick yet. It's not too late for me to hold out hope for the Denver Nuggets. I'm not going to switch yet. They just have not been impressive. They've not been impressive. Last night, they choked against the Golden State Warriors, so that's why they're my loser of the weekend. They got outscored 33-16 in the fourth quarter. 33-16 in the fourth quarter. And honestly, it was just Pods. It was Pods that was killing them. Bro, Pods damn near had a triple-double. He needed one more assist, and he would have had a triple-double off the bench. Listen to this. They allowed Al Horford to go for a season high last night. Al Horford, 97-year-old Al Horford dropped 22 points on them. 142-year-old Al Horford dropped 22 points on them. And they choked it in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to lie. I was hearing from the crowd, Warriors, Warrior. You guys know that war chant. Y'all know that chant. And I was getting flashbacks. Man, because they killed them. They couldn't be stopped. I think they went on like a 22-2 run in the fourth quarter. I'm not even kidding. I think they went on a 22-2 run. So yeah, Denver Nuggets are my second loser of the weekend. Now we're going to move with some pace here. We got to move quick, man. This podcast has been going on forever today. My final losers of the weekend, and I grouped them all up. The Wolves, the Rockets, and the Suns. Now, let's move quick. The Wolves, they're looking sorry as hell. Now, last night, they didn't have Gobert or Naz Reid. But I just want to show you guys how important Rudy Gobert is. They had no defense. They had no answer. They had no solution. They were getting worked on both ends of the court. They had nothing to stop this team last night. Tyrese Maxey was driving to the rim like it was against a second grade team. Okay? VJ Edgecombe, 6 for 7 from 3. Shot 6 for 7. Killed him. Right? I'll be honest, the 76ers were not playing well. But this is why I tell everybody Gobert is the second most important player on this team, and I'd argue that he's the most important player on this team. Because Ant can drop 30 points, right? He dropped 28 points, and they still lost. That's how important Rudy Gobert is. I always say whenever they miss Rudy Gobert, it's like their on-off numbers is absurd with Rudy Gobert. Even when Rudy plays, they're always minus 12 when Rudy is off the court. So as bad as he looks to the eye test, when he's off the court, this team is losing by 12. I don't know what this means, bro. It's just the regular season. Listen, Minnesota in their last 20 games last year, They went 18-2, and their 2 losses were against none other than the Indiana Pacers, right? They ended the season 18-2. And that's the thing. Solo, I was watching this game last night, and I was watching from the Minnesota Timberwolves commentators, and they kept emphasizing that we don't have Naz Reid tonight. We don't have Naz Reid tonight. We don't have Naz Reid tonight. And then I was like, wait, why are they not talking about Rudy Gobert? And I was like, do these commentators not know how important Rudy is to this team? Even this moron in the TikTok stream said, Rudy is really bad. I don't care, just tall. Well, when Rudy Gobert is on the court, the Minnesota Timberwolves are winning by 14 points. When he's off the court, they're losing by 12 points. So I guess, yeah, Rudy Gobert is really bad. He just creates that big of a fucking gap, the biggest gap in the entire NBA for on and off numbers. When Rudy is off versus when Rudy is on, that's the biggest on-off number split in the entire NBA this year. Yes, the Nuggets were my second loser of the weekend. Let's move on to another one. The Houston Rockets, man, they should be 0-3 in their last 3. They should be 0-3 in their last 3, man. They should have been. They should have been. They lost to the Clippers before the All-Star break. They should have lost to the Charlotte Hornets, but Kevin Durant saved them. Their whole offensive scheme is 37-year-old Kevin Durant. Can you save us, Mr. Durant? Can you please save us? We know you're 37 years old, but can you save us? And well, he saved them against the Hornets. And then the New York Knicks. They choked an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter because they can't score. They can't score. They just cannot score. They can't. They can't. They have no offense. I'm being told by TikTok that's literally why they got him. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. They did not get Kevin Durant to be their focal point of the offense. They got, even in the press interview, Kevin Durant said, I want to help this team take that next leap. I'm excited to join the team to be Alperen Şengün's help. He joined to be help. Why is the TikTok chat so brain dead is my question. Whoever has a competent brain in the TikTok, please leave that stream and come to the Twitch stream. I'm an hour and 7 minutes into this podcast, and I am seeing just constant dumbasses in the TikTok. Please, Legendary Dimer, please, everybody, come through to the Twitch stream. I would love to have you guys in the Twitch. I'm being told that he's a closer. Listen, Kevin Durant was not supposed to be leading this team the way he is. He's not. Even the coach said Kevin Durant was supposed to lead. He was not supposed to lead this team. They have no playmaker. I cannot believe this team did not make a move at the deadline. I cannot believe they did not make a move at the deadline. Alperen Şengün, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 turnovers, 6 for 12. Alperen Şengün, I have to continue pointing this out every time I talk about this team. He's shooting below 50% from the field as a 7-footer. He's shooting below 30% as a 7-footer. He is shooting below 70% from the free throw line as a 7-footer. Holy regression. Holy regression. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Amen Thompson has been horrible on offense for the last 2 months. You know why? Because Ime Udoka is not running him the way he's supposed to be running him. I understand he can't shoot, so play him off ball. But who is going to dribble the ball on ball? Well, you have Reed Shepherd. You have Aaron Holiday. Just have somebody dribble the ball and use him in screen and roll, pick and roll, off ball, on ball action. Play Reed Shepherd, man. Why is he playing 21 minutes? Bro, I know Reed Shepherd is mid. I know he's mid, but at least he's a good ball handler. Run Reed Shepherd with the fucking point guard and let Amen play off ball. I'm being told that Amen just clogs the floor now. He's clogging the floor because his coach does not understand why do the Pistons use Asar Thompson so well? It's because when nobody's guarding Asar, all Asar does is either sit in the dunker spot or sit in the corner. That's not what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to get him involved on pick and roll, on ball and off ball action. When you utilize non-shooters in off ball and on ball pick and roll action, it enables the players to get loose and free on offense. If nobody's guarding Amen, Amen, come set the set the fucking screen, bro. Draymond Green, we live in a world where Draymond Green has 4 championship rings. The formula is in front of you, JB Bickerstaff and Ime Udoka. Draymond Green has 4 championships and still shot a little bit better than at least he learned how to shoot a little bit. To be fair, Draymond, his shot progressively got worse as he aged. Checks, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you very, very much. KG, you got to get your ass in the Twitch stream, bro. Fuck out of here, bro. What are you doing? Checks, thank you for the follow on Twitch, man. I appreciate you very, very much. Yeah, see, now I'm being told who's getting him the ball, and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This is why it's the Houston Rockets. I'm flabbergasted that they did not get another ball handler. I'm flabbergasted. I am led astray. They ran amok. I'm flabbergasted. I cannot believe that this team didn't go get a primary ball handler. I can't believe it. I truthfully can't. I can't believe it. I can't believe it at all. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. They just wasted a year of Kevin Durant. Congrats. Just wasted a year. I know Fred got hurt, but this was your opportunity, KG. This was your opportunity to go get a point guard, man. This was your opportunity to go. Kobe White went for what? 2 second round picks, bro? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And now my final loser of the weekend would be the Phoenix Suns. And I know what everybody's thinking. Jay-Z, how are they your loser of the weekend? Listen, they beat the Orlando Magic in double overtime with Jalen Green's heave from the corner. That very well could have been a loss. They were only in that position because Jalen Green shot 6 for 26, 2 for 11 from deep. He was literally 1 for 10 from 3 when he attempted that shot to win the game. But he hit it. He hit it. Now, I'm not going to be hard on Jalen Green. I'm not going to be hard on him. But I'm guaranteeing that Jalen Green's going to have a big March. I think Jalen Green's going to have a massive March, and it's going to scam a lot of people yet again. It scammed him into getting a contract with the Houston Rockets, and it's going to scam Suns fans into thinking that Jalen Green's going to be a contributing factor to their team. Have you guys ever heard the term Mickey Mouse March? Have you guys ever heard that? Mickey Mouse March. March has been known as the month of Mickey Mouse for the last 20 years in the NBA. Ever since load management became a thing, Mickey Mouse March has always been, it's been very consistent where subpar NBA players start going ballistic. They start playing out of their damn minds. Look at Josh Giddey. Look at Josh Giddey last year. Josh Giddey was averaging a fucking 25-point triple-double all of March last year. He's not doing that now. Look at the Giddler. Yeah, man. The players who are below average have a phenomenal March. Now, why? Why does that happen? Now, it's a combination of multiple things. It's because contracts. Obviously, they're up for contracts. But the main thing is that most teams are sitting out their best players. That's typically the reason why. That's why Linsanity happened. That's why a lot of these things happen. That's why Quentin Grimes, absolutely. That's why it's normally their teams that they're up against are sitting out their best players, or the teams that they play, or the teams that are playing are sitting out their best players. So teams like the Hornets, correct. The teams like the Suns, these teams should have an unbelievable March. But remember, it's called Mickey Mouse March for a reason. You're going to hear about some random guy exploding. I'm maybe, what's his name? The guy's name on the Spurs, the two-way contract guy. What's his name? He's got a 3-namer. I know his last name is Garcia. I have a feeling that guy's going to be going crazy. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but I know his name is Garcia. It's David Jones Garcia. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy gets minutes. And he's averaging 3 points a game, 52% from the field and 60% from 3. I remember the one game he had this year. That might have been the only game he played where he dropped like fucking 15. Like this guy was going crazy. So just expect you're going to see a lot of standout performances this March. Just don't get fooled, okay? Miami is definitely going to do it as well. You're going to see Miami you're going to see Norman Powell averaging like 35 points in March. Just remember, it's Mickey Mouse March, okay? Yeah, the Phoenix Suns are my losers of the weekend because they lost Dillon Brooks indefinitely. Dillon Brooks has been the whole turning point of this team. I'm not talking about just offensively. I'm talking about in general, man. Dylan Brooks is the heart and soul of this team. They're my loser. They're my loser. You lost Dylan Brooks. Devin Booker's obviously out. Dylan Brooks broke something in his hand. But yeah, missing Dylan Brooks, man, he's been, fringe all-star. He changed the entire culture of this team in one season. He changed the entire culture. This team was a dumpster fire all last year, and now he's gone. Devin Booker, I don't know how long he's going to be out, but losing Dylan Brooks, the Suns are going to be a play-in team. They're going to be a play-in team, unfortunately. And I think we're going to go the entire year. I think we might go the entire year of Devin Booker's three-point shot abandoning him. He might fall under 30% from three. It's very unfortunate. His worst shooting season of his entire career. And on top of that, Jalen Green's probably going to have a killer March. I guarantee it, guys. Jalen Green has been horrible so far in these couple games. 13 points, 6 for 16, and then 6 for 26, but he hit the game winner against Orlando. He's probably going to have a killer March. Probably. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They weren't expected to be this good, and they surpassed that. That's why, I love the Suns, but man, they still are my loser of the weekend. It's quite unfortunate. Sorry for the spam that's happened on the TikTok. That's why I tell you guys to come through to the Twitch stream. Link in my bio, JZ Uncut. JZ Uncut on Twitch. Now, for my final segment, guys, those are all the losers of the weekend I have. For my final segment, there were a lot of players to choose from. You had Jaylen Brown. You had Brandon Pods. Who else? You had Isaiah or whoever. You had a lot of players to choose from last night. Karl Anthony Towns. You had a lot of players to choose from for our stud of the night, right? But man, you even had Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. You had a crazy amount of good players to choose from last night for my stud of the night. A ton, right? But ultimately, my stud of the night is Peyton Pritchard. I think this goes without saying. They put BTA on national television. On the cock. Peyton Pritchard, fast PP. I know you even had LaMelo Ball having a great game as well. I think he hit 10 threes last night. But I mean, this is against the Los Angeles Lakers, just absolutely bodying this team. I mean, just listen to these stats, guys. First of all, there's one stat that screams at you, and it's the fact that he shot 95%, his true shooting percentage, 95%. They got the win as well. He had 30 points in 38 minutes off the bench, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, and he was 10 for 14 from the field, 6 for 9 from 3. If you guys watch this game, you would know what I'm talking about, bro. He was literally busting everybody's ankles and just snatch back, step back three and in their mouths, bro. Yeah, fast PP is very first ever stud of the night. Very first stud of the night. That's our first ever stud of the night segment. We're gonna be doing it every single day. So I hope you guys are excited for that final segment that we're gonna be doing every day. But yeah, Peyton Pritchard, he was undeniably one of the best players last night, even though like you had LaMelo Ball going crazy against the Washington Wizards. So that it doesn't count that much. So to tell me that he was snubbed. Yeah, Desmond Bane as well. You had him that went crazy as well. But again, guys, I do have to be subjective here. When you do it against dog shit teams, I'm not really going to hype it up as much as you want, you know? But yeah, fast PP went crazy last night. He went unbelievable. And he gets our first ever stud of the night award. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to be our final segment of today's show. An hour and 18 minutes. I'm out of here, bro. Oh my God. This was way too long of an episode. YouTube and TikTok chat. We are still live on Twitch. I would love for you guys to come through to the Twitch stream. That's JZ Uncut on Twitch. Again, that's JZ Uncut on Twitch. The link is in the description on the YouTube. The link is in the bio on TikTok. I'd love to see you guys come through. We are still live on Twitch. If you guys have any hard-hitting questions, come through to the Twitch. If you guys just want to talk to me and join our community, maybe join our watch parties, come through to the Twitch. We'd love to have you. NBA Fanatic, you've been watching me for 30 minutes and you've been hating me for 50 minutes and you've been hating me for the entire time. I'd like to give a shout out to you because hate watching is just as good as love watching, and I appreciate you. I hope to see you guys come through to the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio. Yeah, JZ Uncut. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Twitch chat, be sure to stick around. I appreciate you guys very, very much. I think I still win no matter what because there's members in the TikTok chat who watched me for 1 hour and they're telling me he just yaps. He doesn't know shit, but you watched me for 1 hour. So at the end of the day, I thank you and I appreciate you. And no matter what, every second that you watch or listen to me, I win. And I appreciate all my lovers and my haters all the same. Maybe not the same. But I love you guys. I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, I'll catch y'all tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily show. Go Pistons, baby. Love y'all. Twitch chat, stick around. All right. Excellent. NBA Fanatic. Actually, bro, I've been doing streaming for over 5.5 years. And I was an engineer. So why would I pick this over being an engineer if I wasn't making money, bro? I appreciate you, man. Have a blessed rest of your day. And I thank you for watching for an hour long, even though you were hating on me the entire time. Oh, shoot. Am I recording? My bad. Love you, Spotify. Love you, Apple.